This is Benita's story, also known as the Fiber Pusher. If you get the opportunity, please visit the fiberpusher.com website. I do have links on there. One of the links is to Shepherd's Woodworking. They are the ones who have supplied the sawdust for the dyes, the wood dyes that I've been doing. And if you like what you see, you need to contact them and buy some dyes from them, or buy some sawdust from them, because their stuff is wonderful. It's very clean, very pure. Doesn't have any other sawdust and stuff mixed in with them. Dave and Kelly have been friends of mine for a while now, and I absolutely adore them. And between the two of us, as I'm testing their woods to see if they work, and in the meantime, I'm obviously getting the wonderful results and my pretty colored wools. So also, if you like the videos and you like what you see and you want to learn more, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to, click on the little bell so that you know whenever a new one comes up. I really would appreciate it. I have so many more things that I want to do besides just dyeing that I want to share with you guys. A lot of experiments, a lot of different things in different categories. And I really, really would appreciate it if you let your friends know and get them to subscribe and participate, ask questions, make comments on the page for the video, or even in the fiberpusher.com website. If you have questions, if you have suggestions, please, I love hearing it. So anyways, let's head on over to the video. So we're going to start our series 4 of the sun tea dyes. I'm going to think all said and done, there's probably going to be there's going to be 5. I don't know if I'll go into a 6th series or not. Mostly I'm working with woody dyes here, or wood type of things. And I'm running out of those to test. So let's go ahead and get started with setting up this one. And this one's going to be a little bit different. Okay, this one here, let me show you the woods that I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to be doing buckthorn bark, which Sandy likes to call buckbeak bark. Guatemalan rosewood, white willow bark, a wool called wenge. I've never even heard of this one before. Leopard wood. Again, this is not one I had ever heard before. And then I have a chestnut extract that I'm going to try. So this is basically, it has been ground to a powder. From what I understand with extracts, they actually wet them down. And anyways, it's down to a very fine powder. So I'm going to try this today. Now this being an extract, I'm not going to have to use as much of it. Everything else I'm going to use 100% weighted goods. This one here I'm going to use only about 20% because it's in powder form and it's far more concentrated. So let's go ahead and get the first set of jars set up. Now, unlike the previous ones that I've done where I had 2 different alcohols and then water, I am only going to be using 1 alcohol this time, and that's the isopropyl alcohol. Looking at the results from everything, it's getting pretty obvious that the isopropyl alcohol is just as good, if not better, and so I don't see any reason to waste the money buying the Everclear. So the kind of isopropyl alcohol is the 91%, and I just get it at CVS. Matter of fact, this is CVS's brand, so it can, any drugstore, a big box grocery type of store with that pharmacy will have this. So, and it's pretty inexpensive, especially compared to the Everclear. So I am going to put, I think I'm going to put 20% weight of goods in each one of these. I was putting in wool and cotton wool blend. This time I'm just going to be putting in a wool, only because I'm out of the cotton wool blend. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in 20 grams of wool in each one of these just to test them out and everything. So I've got my jars marked. There's the one for water. So BB stands for buckthorn bark. And then buckthorn bark isopropyl alcohol. So this is how I've got my jars marked. So let's go ahead and I'm going to put the jar on here and turn it on. So that way it comes out to 0. And then I'm just going to put in 20 grams into the jar. Now the bark is, it's a nice wood chip type of thing, so this is going to be really easy to deal with. So we'll see how much it takes to put 20 grams in. There's 12. It's not going to take much at all, is it? 14. 18. Just a teensy bit more. 20. So obviously there's not, buckthorn bark must weigh a little bit much because there's not a whole lot in there, which is okay. I could save the rest of that for the stovetop dye thing. So there's number 1. Now I'm going to do number 2. Same thing. 20 grams. And if I said ounces before, I'm sorry. It's everything here is in grams. There's 10. $18. $20. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the liquids. I'm going to turn this off, save my battery. Matter of fact, I'm going to set this to the side. So, this is for the isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to finish up a jar our bottle that I've already bought. I'm not going to fill the bottle jar up with it. I'm just going to basically top the to the top of the bark pieces here, just to make sure it has enough to cover it. There we go. No reason to waste this. And then I'm going to put the lid on the jar. Set it aside. The one for the water, I'm just adding water. Hot water works best. And again, I'm just going to top it so that it's all covered. And then I'm going to, of course, put the cap on it. This here seems to float more. The water makes it float more, so I'm actually going to just give it a good shake and everything to make sure it's all covered. The alcohols, for some reason, actually seem to penetrate a little bit better. Now, I'm going to do the same thing for the other 5. So Series 4 is going to have 6 different, where Series 1, 2, and 3 had 3 different dyes in them. With me getting rid of the isopropyl alcohol, I have enough jars and everything to do 2 whole more experiments. So I might as well while I've got the sunshine. So I'll go ahead and set up the rest, and then I will talk to you when we're done. Okay, as you can tell, I just finished up doing the Series 3 for the Sun Tea dyes, and I'm getting ready to start Series 4, but I wanted to show you what we came up with. I showed you which woods we're using, but it's interesting. These have only been in the jars maybe an hour, and I'm already seeing some really interesting results. So let's just start with what we've got. Now, this one here is the chestnut extract. Is it an extract? Yeah, this is a chestnut extract. I ended up using 20% weight of goods. So there's 4 grams of the chestnut extract in here for 20 grams worth of yarn that I'm going to put in here. Now, I don't know if you can see, but there's already color with the alcohol, but there's even more color with the water. So this is going to be interesting when it gets out into the sun. These won't go out into the sun until probably in the morning or late tonight. It depends on if I can get it all done in time today. Because I want to see how, I would like to leave these in the sun for at least a week. So anyways, there's the chestnut. This one here is the leopard wood. Now, in the alcohol, you can see there's already starting to be some color. And it's a kind of an orangey, so I'm going to assume peaches and stuff out of this. The water, there's some color, but it's not obviously nearly as much as with the alcohol. So, this is the white willow bark. See, which one's this one? This one's the water, this is the alcohol. I don't know if you could tell on the bottom there, but there's definitely some yellow tones in the water. So that's bringing out something. And in the alcohol, you're starting to see some yellows and stuff in there as well. Something called white willow bark. You wouldn't think they would be any color at all, but I'm definitely starting to get some. Now this here is the one called Wenge, W-E-N-G-E. Honest with you, I have never even heard of this wood before, and this is one of the ones that's a true experiment. I mean, I have heard of chestnut. I have heard of okay, I've heard chestnut. White willow bark I actually bought as a dyewood from a supplier, so obviously they know what they're talking about there. The leopard wood I have no idea on. No idea at all. So here's the wenge. Now this is with the isopropyl alcohol. Look at the dark color that's in there already. Isn't that gorgeous? And then even with the water, you're starting to get some really nice colors come out. So this one here is going to be promising, obviously. Of course, as we know, just because there's colors in the jar doesn't mean it's going to go onto the yarn, but we'll see. And then this here is Guatemalan rosewood. So Guatemalan rosewood, there is in the water starting to be a little color, but not a lot. It's pretty pale. And then, but with the alcohols, look at that. There's already a gorgeous orangey brown in that. So there's those. And then this is the buckthorn bark. Bless Sandy's heart. I keep wanting to call it buckbeak bark because of her. Because she called it that every time I talked about it. She goes, "Oh, you mean buckbeak bark?" Buckthorn bark. Now I know that this is supposed to be a dyewood. And this is with the isopropyl alcohol. And there is definitely a gorgeous, it's an orange, but I'm going to guess that we're going to get some really good yellows out of this. So there's that one. And then the water itself even has a lot of good color in it. So those are the ones that I'm going to be doing for series 4. Been through my list, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a series, well, I know there's going to be a series 5, pretty sure there's going to be a series 6. At that point, I'm pretty much out of the woodies that unless I get some more sawdust from Shepherd's Woodworking, I'm pretty much out of the wood stuffs. Now, most of these, the leopard wood, let's see, the chestnut's not from them, the leopard wood is from them, the wenge is from Shepherd's Woodworking, the white willow bark is not, the buckthorn bark is not, and the Guatemalan rosewood is. So this side over here is from Shepherd's Woodworking. I can't wait to see how these turn out because this will help them as well. And these obviously I got from other places. So I'm actually going to let these sit out here today in the sun just to cook them. And then when I put them in the jars, they'll just be that much more ahead. So yeah, let's see what happens with these. Okay, we are starting series 4 for the sun dye. It's sun tea dyes, and so I've got Guatemalan rosewood. This is the one that's in the isopropyl alcohol, and this is the one in the water. There's definitely color in the isopropyl alcohol. The water, not really so much. But I'm going to go ahead and get these ready and put these out for the sun teas. So I'm going to put these in their little baggies. I bought these little hankies off of Amazon. They are a lot smaller than I was led to believe. So, anyways, but they'll work perfectly for this. So let's go ahead and do the water one. Oops. I'll put the label on the jar that it's going to go into and keep track. very, very little color in this one. Obviously, this is going to be another one of those ones that's going to be alcohol soluble. But that's okay. That's how you learn. And besides, we might actually get some colors off of it. Look what we got off of the purple heart. You have to watch Series 3 for that one. Pull this up. Tie it with a string. Or you can use a rubber band, whichever your preference is. With these smaller hankies, I've got to be more careful not to have any gaps in it, because I really don't want the sawdust to come out and get into my yarns. That's a pain to clean out, let me tell you. So, let's grab my jar. Put that in it. Put the liquid in it. And finish filling it up with water. Some color in there. Not a lot, but there is some. Okay, so the water one is going to be this little piece here. I'm only putting one piece in since I'm not doing the cotton anymore. On a lot of the wools, especially the ones going to the alcohol, I just increased the amount of wool that I put in there. So, let's grab the lid, set this aside. Let's do the next one. So, grab a hanky. Itty bitty hanky. Gosh darn, this is itty bitty. Okay, so again, we're going to pour this in. Ooh, there's some nice color in that. I like that. I wonder what color that's going to end up being. Can't really tell sometimes by what comes out of the jars. Yeah, there's some nice color in that. I think out of rosewood, I guess I expected to have a little bit more toward the reds. It looks like we got some really nice oranges and stuff in here so far. We'll find out what it looks like in a week, huh? Alright, tie up my little bag. I recommend not getting cheap hankies because they are so tiny. If you're going to do a lot, I really recommend buying a bolt of muslin or getting a few yards of muslin and then use that, because that way you can make it at whatever size you want. Now for the sun-tea dyes, these will work just fine. Let's pour this in. And top it off with water. Yeah, there's actually some nice color in there. I like that. Alright, let's put our skein of yarn in there. Get it untwisted. That way there's no resist in it. I think I'll fill it up just a bit more. And that one now is ready to go out to the garden. So I'm going to get the other 5 ready, and we'll get those out to the garden, and so that they can start doing their cooking. Like I said, I'm going to let this cook about a week, which is what I've been doing for about all of them. A couple of them have cooked maybe a day or so more, but most of them have been cooking for a week in there. So there's the Guatemalan rosewood. Let me get the rest of them done, and I'll be right back. I've got Series 4 set up in their jars. And already I'm seeing some really interesting colors. Now, most of these seem to be in the same color family, so it looks like they're going to be more oranges and yellows and that kind of thing. So here is the Guatemalan rosewood. Obviously, the alcohol is much better. The wenge, the alcohol is better, but not as much of a contrast as it is with the rosewood. Now, the leopard wood. Look familiar? Yeah, kind of reminds me of what canary wood started out as too. So we'll see about this one. Now the chestnut. Now this is a chestnut extract. So I found it interesting that in the water, The extract had completely dissolved. I just shoved a hanky in there because I wanted to see what color it is at the end. The isopropyl alcohol, the extract did not dissolve all the way, so I ended up having to put the rest of it in a hanky. It probably will dissolve, now that especially there's water in it. But I find that interesting that the alcohol didn't dissolve at all, but the water did. Now, we have the buckthorn bark, which obviously I'm going to redo that label. Interesting. I think we see more reds with the isopropyl alcohol and more yellows with the water. Interesting. Now, the white willow bark, I was sold this as a dyewood, so I'm assuming it can dye, but I'm not real happy with the colors yet. I just think it looks weak. Now, this may be one of those ones that absolutely has to be boiled, and if that's the case, we'll find out when we do the stovetop dyes. So anyway, I have 6 of them this week. Obviously, there's no Everclear, and I can't wait to see what these look like at the end of the week. Hey everyone! Alrighty, I've done the Series 4 Sun Tea dyes. Now, they've been done for a while, probably over a month. Between Michigan Fiber Festival and working on closing down Dyed in the Wool, I just haven't had time to finish filming and show you anything. And I also haven't had the chance to actually do the stovetop dye pots. Those will be coming up. But I wanted to show you the results of the Sun Tea ones, because some did good, some didn't do so well, some did really well. So let me show you. I'm going to start with the least good and come up to what I think is the nicest. So, there's 3 that didn't do so well with the Sun Teas. One of them is, this is leopard wood. Very little color in the jars. The one with the isopropyl alcohol is definitely darker than the one in the water. So this is one of the ones that when I do the stovetop, I will definitely do this with the isopropyl alcohol. The one here for the chestnut, you can see a little bit of different in the one with the isopropyl alcohol. It is a little darker. I'll be honest with you, I may just use water for it. The water did have color in it, so, but not as much color as the isopropyl alcohol. I don't know, isopropyl alcohol is cheap, I'll probably just do it. The other one that I used, this is white willow bark, and you wouldn't think something called white willow bark would have a dye in it, but it actually does. Now, again, this is the water, this is the isopropyl alcohol. It does give color. It's a yellow beige, but that's with just the Sun Teas. Again, I think this will give more color when we do the actual stovetop dye pot, so we're going to check that out. Now let me show the good ones. Now all 3 of the ones that I'm getting ready to show you, because Series 4 actually had 6 dyes in it. I dropped the Everclear, and so that gave me extra jars, so I was able to actually do 2 extra the dye experiments. So what I did with these 3 is I actually let them soak for a day or 2, took them out, and put more wool into it. And let me show you why. This is Guatemalan rosewood. This was in the jar for, like I said, about 2 days. And if you look at it, you really can't tell difference between the water and the isopropyl alcohol. So this one here is not alcohol soluble, it's definitely water soluble. So when I do this on the stovetop, it's definitely going to be just with water. And then there's the second one. So this is 2 days in the jar, 100% weight of goods, adding more, and then I let this sit in the jar probably about 5 days. I let it sit for the rest of the time, but this is an excellent Sun Tea one, let me tell you. Guatemalan rosewood, sawdust, it's just amazing. I like these browns. They're nice. They're warm. Yeah, I want to do these again. Actually, it's funny. Okay, with the water one. Yeah, with the water one, it's more yellow. And with the isopropyl alcohol, it did bring out a little bit more reds. So that's interesting. But I like these. I can't wait to do these on the stovetop because I have a feeling we're going to get some really, really, really rich colors out of these. And again, I'm just going to soak these in water. No reason to waste the isopropyl alcohol with it. The next one that we did is, this is buckthorn bark. Now, this one here was in 2 days. The isopropyl alcohol did much better than the water. Here's the water, isopropyl alcohol. I mean, they're really, really nice oranges. Kind of a golden orange. Now, when I put the second batch in, it's just definitely a nice gold. And with this one, yes, there's a difference between the water and the isopropyl alcohol. Not as much as you could tell with this. So I think when I do the stovetop dye, I'm actually going to do the isopropyl alcohol with this. I think it's worth the extra effort to get those nice oranges out of it. But isn't that gorgeous? And again, this is sun tea. So this is definitely one that you don't have to heat up on the stove. I mean, you can get nice colors. Now, the other one is a wood I have never even heard of before. It's W-E-N-G-E, and it's pronounced Wenge or Wenge, depending on how you do it. So, Wenge or Wenge. 2 days in the pot or jar. Again, I mean, there is a slight difference between the water and the isopropyl alcohol, but I'm going to put this in just water when I cook it on the stovetop. And then this is for the second one for the rest of the week. Nice, nice greeny golds or goldy greens, however you want to put that. Sorry, there's gnats out here like crazy. They're just bombarding me. So this is definitely one I can't wait to do on the stovetop, and I'm going to do this one just with water as well. Again, I don't see any reason to waste the isopropyl alcohol when the colors are that close. So that's the end of the results of the sun tea. Like I said, I can't wait to do the stovetop. I want to see if the leopard wood actually gives color on the stovetop. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like canary. Well, no, canary wood did pretty good. Yellow heart. I think it's going to be pretty much like the yellow heart, where you're not going to get hardly any color at all. But oh my gosh, the other ones, they're gorgeous. So these are my sun tea dye results for all of them. They're not bad colors. I mean, some of them are a little paler than the others, but those make up for it, don't they? Oh, I love doing natural dyes.